Welcome to Red-tastic. Story 1. Hey everyone, I'm in a bit of a weird situation with my sister-in-law, husband's younger brother's wife. A little backstory. She recently got married, and during the wedding planning, I found out that she didn't ask me to be one of her bridesmaids. She asked the oldest brother's wife and the second oldest brother's girlfriend, who's only been with him for a year, to be her bridesmaids. That meant all the brothers' partners were included except me. My husband and I have been married for a year and together for 5, so it was really baffling. I honestly never realized there was any issue between us. The 3 of us, oldest brother's wife, me, and sister-in-law, have always hung out at family events just fine. There's never been any noticeable tension or drama. So when I found out that I wasn't asked to be a bridesmaid, I was shocked and hurt. My husband was also upset on my behalf and even talked to his brother about it. But his brother just said it wasn't his decision and that it was out of his hands. The wedding went off without a hitch, but I felt like the odd one out the whole time. It wasn't exactly unnoticed at the wedding either. I could tell quite a few people were surprised that I wasn't included. It just felt really awkward and embarrassing. After the wedding, I decided to go low contact with sister-in-law, and she did the same. However, for 2 weeks, my sister-in-law has been trying to communicate with me a lot, messaging me like we're close friends. I have been pretty curt in my responses because I'm still upset about the whole bridesmaid situation. Then yesterday, she messaged me and finally got to the point. She asked if she and my brother-in-law could use our vacation cabin for 2 weeks because they didn't get to have a proper honeymoon due to their tight budget. They did spend a couple of days out there somewhere, and I had heard before the wedding she was complaining about brother-in-law not giving her a proper honeymoon. But still, I was taken aback by the request. I told her no. She seemed surprised and asked if everything was okay between us. That's when I finally told her that things haven't been okay between us since the wedding. She seemed really caught off guard, and now I'm wondering if I handled this the wrong way. I didn't want to be passive-aggressive, but I also didn't feel like I could just pretend everything was fine and let them use our cabin after feeling so snubbed. Am I overreacting about not being asked to be a bridesmaid, or was it reasonable for me to feel hurt? Would love some advice on how to navigate this. Update. So after I told my sister-in-law that things haven't been okay between us since the wedding, she sent me a long text explaining her reasons for not including me as a bridesmaid. Apparently, it was a hard decision for her, but she didn't want someone whose way of life she didn't agree with in her bridal party. Turns out her issue is that I'm child-free. She actually said that. She went on to say that she has no hard feelings and that the wedding was an isolated incident, but that she was sorry if my feelings were hurt. Then she added that she didn't think it would matter that I wasn't at the bridal party. To my amazement, at the end of her text, she still gave the dates they wanted to use the cabin, as if her explanation would somehow smooth things over. I responded by telling her no once again. I also told her the truth, that I was hurt by her decision, and her explanation just made things worse. My husband completely agrees with me on this, and he's been supportive throughout. However, my brother-in-law, her husband, has decided not to get involved, which is frustrating because this whole situation is clearly affecting their relationship with us. The brothers have been distant lately, and there is no telling if their relationship will ever recover. I've heard that she's been going around telling people her version of events. However, most everyone is on my side. Her reasoning is ridiculous, and most of them can see that she was just being petty. I'm just trying to stay out of any further drama. At the end of the day, it's nice to know that most people see what's really going on here. It's awesome that I've got my husband's support, and we're not letting her manipulate us to her benefit. Thanks for all the advice and support. OP, your sister-in-law intentionally hurt you and singled you out from everyone else in the family because of your decision to not have kids. Even though this decision of yours has nothing to do with her, she decided she would put you at arm's length and treat you like a stranger for it. She brought this on herself, and I would say she was only trying to be in your good grace because she wants to use your cabin. Funny how now that she wants something from you, she has no problem with you not having kids. Stand your ground. You have every reason to not want to do her any favors. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for having an issue with my sister's child's name? My sister S and I are identical twins. I've always felt like I've never been allowed to have my own things. We have rhyming names. My mom always tried to get us matching clothes, and we shared a bedroom. That's never bothered S like it bothers me. She always wanted to do the same activities as me and hang out with my friend group. When we were 18, she applied to a few of the same colleges as me, but she's never been as good of a student, and she didn't get into my dream school as I did. I hid it, but I was really excited. Ultimately, it was good for us that S went to a different college. Our relationship improved when I had my own space where I could be myself and not one of the interchangeable twins. I went to graduate school, so I didn't get married until last year. After the wedding, we moved to my hometown to raise our kids close to family. S has been married for 4 years. Unfortunately, her husband, SH, is unable to have kids. They decided to adopt, which I think is fantastic. I'm currently pregnant and having a girl. My husband and I spent a lot of time picking out the perfect name for our future child. I feel so good about this name. Yesterday, S and her husband announced to the family, remotely, that they are officially about to adopt a little girl. They wanted a baby, but ended up having to go with a slightly older kid, 5. She looks absolutely precious, and I was so happy for a few seconds before they announced her name is B. The name that S knows is my daughter's. I thought that was a joke, so I kind of laughed. Then I realized they were serious. Obviously, the girls can't have the same name. Twins with daughters with the same name? Everyone would laugh at us. I feel like all of my problems with S will repeat themselves as everyone compares the girls and lumps them together because they have the same name. They won't be able to have a good relationship because of this. I don't want people nicknaming my kid to distinguish her because I like the full name I chose. And I can't help but suspect that S picked a kid with the same name on purpose, just like she always wanted to be like me when we were kids. I am planning to talk to S about the situation. One of us needs to change our kid's name, and I'm hoping she will be reasonable. My kid will get here first. I'm almost at my due date, and I picked out the name first. A lot of parents change their adopted kids' names. They could do that. If the kid won't change her name, S and her husband could go with a different kid. There are thousands upon thousands of orphans who need loving homes, and 99.999% of them don't have this one particular name. They haven't bonded with this one yet. I already have bonded with my baby, and I can't imagine her with another name. This is stressing me out, and it's not good for my baby. Yes, OP, you're the a-hole. I understand that you've gotten attached to this name, but if you don't want your child to share the same name with your sister's child, you're gonna have to change it. Telling your sister to have her kid's name changed just to please you sounds wrong. The kid has been called that her whole life, and she's 5. Telling her that's not a name anymore can have some negative effects on her. Telling your sister to throw the poor kid out over this is just evil. You would let a poor kid lose the potential of a happy family just because of a name? Get yourself together and get help. You really need it. Now for some comments. I cannot understand this level of entitled selfishness, OP. You would honestly and willingly sabotage this little girl's chance of a family over a name? Here's another option. How about you get some therapy before your baby is born? Because you are shaping up into being the helicopter mom from hell. You're the a-hole, but only because there isn't a rating worse than that. Parents who change their adoptive kids' names only do that with infants who have no attachment to the name, or if it's necessary for the kid's safety, not to some random 5-year-old because someone in the family wants the name. You're the a-hole OP, plain and simple. You change the name if you hate it so much, or cut out the rest of your family for the rest of your life, and never let your child know them, since that's the only way you're getting what you want. I understand that you would have put a lot of thought into choosing your kid's name, but I highly doubt your sister would have been able to handpick a baby with the exact same name. This just seems like a wild coincidence. I was going to go with no a-holes here, but the last statement where you say your sister should drop this kid and pick someone else just because of a name is where you become a massive self-centered and entitled a-hole in my opinion. You're the a-hole. An unborn baby can always have another name, but not every 5-year-old orphan gets adopted. Get off your high horse and be more human. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for not having my sister's baby? My twin sister, we'll call her Jay, and I, 28 female, have always been close. When we were little, we would play with our dolls and talk about how when we get older, we were gonna have babies at the same time, so they'll be BFFs. Then as we grew up, it was more than obvious that we were pretty much polar opposites. Think every cliche in the book. She was hot prom queen member and eventually captain of the school's volleyball team, while I was a shy, geeky and overweight girl. But even if we had different interests and navigated separate social circles, we remained very good friends. Fast forward to now, Jay and her husband, P, 30, have been married for 3 years and have been trying to have kids for 2. After many unsuccessful attempts and a miscarriage in spring last year, the doctor told them she can't have kids. Then 2 weeks ago, we were hanging out at our parents' house when Jay and P said they wanted to talk to me about being their surrogate. I became a bit disenchanted about the whole motherhood thing when I was 16 or 17, and my partner and I, together since college, decided if we want to have kids, it won't be in a traditional way. None of us would like to be pregnant, and yes, I'm a lesbian. All of this was unknown to Jay. Therefore, I told them I really didn't consider pregnancy as something I wanted to go through, and that I was sorry. They told me to think about it, to which I answered there was nothing to think about. Gave them my reasons. The main one being my ED, for which I've been getting therapy, but which still makes me incredibly anxious about the weight gain that comes with pregnancy. Repeated I'm sorry, and if I can help them in some other way, I will gladly do it. Then shit hit the fan. Jay started to tell me how selfish I was, how I was ruining her dream of having a family, and how she was there to support me with my problem some years ago, and I couldn't do the same for her now. I might have gotten angry and told her she was being a complete bitch, mostly because I thought she had been there for me through the recovery of my ED because she loved me. But I guess she just wanted to have a chance to ask for a favor in return for her support. Anyway, P then got angry too because I was being unreasonable for calling her a bitch, and they stormed out. Since then, the story has gotten to the ears of most of our family. Thanks, Mom. And half of them side with J and P saying I should help her because she's my sister, while the other half thinks I'm not obligated to do it. My partner thinks too it's my decision and our parents won't side with any of us. They think I can say no if I want to, but they won't tell Jay that it was mean to act like I owed her something. So am I the a-hole for not wanting to be my sister's surrogate? Now for some comments. Your sister and a partner haven't thought this through. Candidates for surrogacy have to have had at least one pregnancy carried to term, so you won't even qualify. You might have the same fertility issues as your sister. You have no reason to be tested for this, but it's possible, which would prevent you from becoming pregnant at all. And you're recovering from an ED, so you might not be healthy enough anyway. Not the a-hole. Pregnancy is uncomfortable and hard. Your body can change permanently. You can develop pregnancy-related health issues. Shit, you can die giving birth. I had a horrible eating disorder before I got pregnant, and my body image and mental health has gone downhill since then. Your health and safety comes before her wants to be a mother. If she wants a child that badly, she can foster, adopt, ask another family member to be her surrogate, or hire a professional surrogate. You're not selfish for thinking of yourself. Not the a-hole. Your sister can find a surrogate through multiple agencies. There are people who basically do this for a living. She has no right to expect something so major from you. Does she not understand the impact pregnancy has on the body? It's basically asking you to completely change your life for her, and is not the same as being emotionally supportive for someone during a rough time. Asking would have been fine, and being disappointed when you said not would also be fine. But getting angry when you say no? Ridiculous. Your sister is being incredibly selfish.